Hey everybody, welcome to Cracking Chinese. I'm Carl. Today we want to briefly take you through the 3 basic tone rules that you need to know in Mandarin Chinese. 所以让我们来开始吧. Let's get cracking. So if Chinese weren't difficult enough, there's a few exceptions thrown in there just to confuse you. So there's 3 basic rules or exceptions whereby you need to change the tone of a character in certain situations. Now, it might sound difficult, but actually it's more natural to speak this way so you can quickly get the hang of it. So let's go through the 3 rules. So, rule number 1, all about the character bu. Now, the character bu is normally a 4th tone. However, the exception is when it precedes another 4th tone, then it turns into a 2nd tone. So instead of saying bu yao or bu yao, you say bu yao. Instead of saying bu qu, you say bu qu. Instead of saying bu shi, you say bu shi. And if you notice, that's actually a little more fluid, a little more natural to say it that way. It's what tends to happen when you speak quickly anyway, so you'll quickly get the hang of it. Now remember, you only change the tonal value of bu to a 2nd tone when it comes before another 4th tone. Otherwise, it always stays the same. It's a 4th tone. Okay, so rule number 2. When there's 2 third tones in a row, the first third tone changes to a 2nd tone. So you'll find that this actually makes it faster and easier to say. You just lightly touch the first character with the 2nd tone. So instead of saying ni hao, you just say ni hao. Instead of saying ke yi, you just say ke yi. And instead of saying suo yi, you just say suo yi. And then, although it doesn't happen too often, if there's more than 2 third tones in a row, then it's just the last one that will remain as a 3rd tone. All the others will change to 2nd tones. So, rule number 3, all to do with the character E, which is the number 1 in Chinese, normally pronounced with a 1st tone, E. There's kind of 2 parts to this rule. Part A is if it comes before a 4th tone, then E will change to a 2nd tone, which is a bit like the character bu. Part B is if it comes before anything else, a 1st, 2nd, or a 3rd tone, then E will change to a 4th tone. So, a few examples. Instead of saying yi xia, you say yi xia. Instead of saying yi qi, you say yi qi. Instead of saying yi tong, you say yi tong. Instead of saying yi xie, you say yi xie. Now, unfortunately, if things weren't hard enough, there's an exception to the exception. And that is if you're using E as a regular number, as an ordinal number, like you're counting or you're using it in an address, or a phone number or a date or something, then it just keeps its normal 1st tone. So if you're counting and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it just stays as the 1st tone. If it's 第一个, the 1st, it stays as 1st tone. If it's 1月份 for January, then it stays as 1st tone. So just a final note, when you're writing pinyin, you don't show the tone rule. You will just write it, the character with its original tonal value. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's pros and cons, I guess. And it doesn't always seem strictly applied. Sometimes you see it written with the tone rule, but technically speaking, you're not supposed to do that. So yeah, Chinese tones can be a little bit frustrating and a little bit difficult to master, but don't give up, keep going, you can do it. 加油, 别放弃. And we all make mistakes, so don't worry about it too much. How many mistakes did I make in this video? Please let me know down in the comments below. As usual, thank you very much for watching this video. It'd be very much appreciated if you could hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. 谢谢大家，再见，加油。